What is up, and welcome into the Easy Smoke at the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined as always by my outstanding co-host. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend, Grambling State legend. He was a second baseman for the Tigers. He was all SWAC back in the day. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft.
I'm sorry. Don't forget LLC now. You got to throw that in there, bro.
Oh, what?
Coach Smoke Camp.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a second. Hold on. We'll talk about it in a second. And we got the NFL draft analyst. Note I said analyst this time. You can catch all his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. He's got his mock drafts up right now. He's working diligently. It's Glenn Morgan. He's our GM. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Hey, again, I know y'all guys are a little dubious when I say this, but you got to put a little respect to my name. I'm back into the Madden Championship, back into the Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. I'm waiting for my competitor. There's an NFC Championship game has yet to be played, but I've secured another AFC Championship, back-to-back AFC Championships with only one loss this season. Thank you very much. I'm waiting for my competitors to finish their NFC Championship game so I can find out who I'm facing. But, back-to-back AFC Championships. I mean, come on, man. A little love there. Only one loss this season. I might be back-to-back Coach of the Year. I mean, come on, man. That's got to count for something, right?
He's the NFL draft enthusiast. He's Glenn Morgan. We'll talk about Madden later, if you actually get
Yeah,
we'll see.
We got to finish the deal this go round, man.
Yes, sir.
Tough crowd.
Hey, Smoke. Before we really get started, tell us about your latest endeavor here.
So I started Coach Smoke Camp. So I train infielders in baseball, and I started Coach Smoke Camp in 2019, July of 2019, and I was going hard with it, and then the pandemic, pretty put a halt to it. And I'm getting back going. I've officially got my LLC for it, and it's time to really take this thing to the next level, man. So anybody out there looking for infield training, contact me. If you're looking for any type of training, I got connections with others that do other stuff too. So yeah, you can find my Instagram page, Coach Smoke Camp.
Can you
Coach
teach
underscore,
me? Go ahead. I'm sorry. No.
I was gonna say Instagram page, Coach underscore Smoke underscore Camp. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, same Coach underscore Smoke underscore Camp LLC on Facebook.
So can you teach me how to play first base? Finally,
I can try.
I was a decent first baseman in high school. I just want you guys to know that.
We a little far removed,
Wow.
So it's about how dedicated
I'm trying, man. It's been a couple years now because of the pandemic. We're trying to get back on the softball field this summer.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works out.
Hey,
we shall see. So let's get started. We got a lot of subjects to talk about, but I think we'll start with those damn Bulls.
Oh
man.
So after a good win over Toronto on Monday night this week, they go to Milwaukee to take on Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, and the Milwaukee Bucks, and they basically just didn't even show up, man. After
2020,
seven minutes in, they were done, man. And this team, I once again, I get that. Yeah, they're ahead of schedule. I get that they've been hit by the injury bug, but just about everybody's back now. And that doesn't excuse you for not playing with heart. And that's how I felt they played in that game last night in Milwaukee. Just no heart there. And I don't know how they are going to be able to get that before the playoffs come in. What do they have? 10 games left?
Yeah.
So it was disheartening to say the least.
Yeah.
Do you think they play without heart, or they're just not that good, or Milwaukee, or they're not as good as they need to be, still kind of maybe kind of refiguring what they're doing as they're kind of adjusting their defense. So they're kind of caught in an adjustment phase. But Milwaukee is just that good and just that determined, because as if you watch the Bulls post yesterday, as has been talked about, they're probably the least talked about champion, returning champion that, we've seen maybe in the last 10, 15, 20 years. There's like not a lot of respect has gone into Milwaukee's championship, which to me is more, I put more weight to their championship than the Lakers the year before in the bubble.
Yes.
Quite honest. But Milwaukee, I think, showed us that because Middleton didn't play.
Right.
So showed us that they're not just, a two-man team or, just a quote unquote, star-laden specialist team. I mean, Bobby put it on us. I mean, he probably always will because he was a former Bull, but you just saw just how deep a team they are. And it just, the Bulls just, I'll put it this way. When I watch the Bulls play, I just want to say, hit the weight room. I just feel like teams overpower us, at positions and spots where we have the height. Like, we're skilled. We're one of the better skilled teams, particularly with DeRozan and Levine and even Vooch and some of our other guys. But the physicality is just not there. And Tristan, it's nice to have Tristan on the team, and he's probably in a decent role, backup role. But he's got that old man strength now. That's what it looks like. He's not necessarily as athletic as he was when he was younger. He looks a little slower, but he knows what he needs to do so he can get by with his knowledge and some of his physical strength. But overall, I just see us, man, just being the Bulls are being bullied. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say from last night, man. I get if Giannis goes off on us. Okay.
Right.
But actually, they didn't do too bad against him. He did have a dominant 17 rebounds, but right, fine. All right. But by the way, yeah, Drew Holiday just scored again.
but he's a physical guard. That's what I mean. It's just like there's a physicality to the way they play, but I think even more so, there's a mental physicality that teams are bringing against the Bulls because they see us as, I hate to say it, as he's soft.
Yeah.
They let Grayson Allen just go to the cup at will. The same guy that basically, messed up your season.
Yeah.
That's where I say there's a no heart there. That's it in a nutshell.
But yeah, I don't think it's. I'm gonna have a hard time saying it's no heart, but it's definitely we're soft. We're soft, and it's, and every team we play, they try. Even the softest teams try to come in and be more physical versus us.
Right,
we're soft. It's something to be said that the one player that's trying to play more physical now is Zach. He's the one player that's trying to play more physical, getting to the rim and things like that.
Right.
But he's going. I give you that. He's going to the cup. But every time he get there, he tries to avoid contact.
Well, he's an injury too, though, bro. The back and the knee. You know what I'm saying?
But then you can't cry for every call then.
No, you can't.
You can't, but sometimes, man, calls need to be made.
If you're not trying to make contact, you can't get those calls. I'm sorry.
But my thing is this. See, I'm not going to fault him for trying not to make contact, but because he's trying to finish.
Right.
He's not going in with the mindset, I don't want to finish. I'd rather just get fouled. He's going in, I'm going to finish. And if you hit me, it should be an and one.
Right. I
it
agree.
Should be an and one. Like, that's how I look at it.
But he, and it's possible. It's just basically his he's such a great athlete. The athleticism that he has, he misses the contact. I think they try to get him, but he misses.
He gets some contact, bro, and they just don't call it. I think what you say. I think you're both saying the same thing. You're both right, and the result is we're just getting screwed, and Zach's frustrated. So I think his complaining you're seeing is I think it's just frustration, not just at that call, just the overall frustration of stuff. Like, damn it, I'm coming to the cup. I'm supposed to be coming to the cup. I come to the cup. I'm creating contact. I need to get a call, and God damn, I'm not even getting the call. It's that kind of frustration over time, plus the physical infirmities or injuries that he's been dealing with. And then I think, like what you said, Smoke, is like, yeah, he's coming to the cup because you see he'll forearm his way in there a little bit, like push a guy off, and he's trying to finish, and so he's not. Maybe the ball's not going in a lot of times, so he wants to call. Like if the ball went in, maybe he's not as frustrated. But if the ball's not going in, he knows he's used to finishing strongly. But again, that's a healthy Zach finishes strongly to the cup, more or finishes better around the basket. So he's not finishing better around the basket. He's injured. The team is losing. He's going to the cup and all this, and I still can't get a goddamn call. I think that's what you're seeing coming out. But you're right. He and DeRozan are probably the most aggressive going to the basket. Vooch, yeah, if it's a clear lane, he may go. But there are times it's like, dude, you need to play like a big man. And when your big man doesn't play like a big man, and when he gets pushed around, or when he can't quite corral a rebound, or he goes to the ground, or he's fumbling at the ground trying to get the ball, and somebody digs it out for him, that sets a tone, man. When you're a big man, if Shaq were soft, the Lakers would never won anything. Or Shaq wasn't as Shaq-like, they wouldn't win. If Moses Malone wasn't as Moses Malone, if Karl Malone, you know what I'm saying? These are guys with certain physicality that aura of physicality and what it brings, your teammates can latch on to. And when you don't have that, when it's not coming from your biggest person, that shit permeates your team, and the other people sniff blood, and that's what we're chumming the water right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see, and I perimeter defense is god awful. It's god awful. Off the pick and roll, guys are coming off the pick and roll, going straight downhill.
Yeah,
and like Boo to try to step up, but then the man he's guarding either going to get the lob or the drop pass, or Vooch stays on his man, give up. Like, so even with Vooch being soft, because he's soft, like he's getting picked on. Like, and it's, but it comes down to the fact that our guards can't stay in front of anybody. They can't stay in front of anybody, and it's tough. I know, like, watching the game yesterday, to me, I mean, Bobby, like you said, Bobby had a hell of a game. I feel like Giannis did Giannis things. He didn't have his greatest game offensively, but he did Giannis things. I mean, he gonna do what he do. What he had, 17 rebounds,
17 boards last night.
Yeah, but like, I felt like Pat Williams, that was kind of unfair for him. Like, you can see he got tired quick yesterday.
Yeah.
Versus against Toronto, he got tired fast because he had to guard Bobby and he was guarding Giannis. And so that's hard for him to come back after missing all that time and have to guard those guys. But we lack toughness. We lack personality. I always say that Tristan is he's the personality.
And he just got here.
That's the only person that's gonna ruffle some feathers. I mean, DeRozan and Vooch, they gotta be on the verge of next tech is a suspension. I mean, I feel like they get teed up every game. But damn, use that frustration to elbow somebody. Get an offensive foul where you running a motherfucker over or something. Like, don't continuously get texts where you yelling at the referees. How about you get physical on the court? Like, that's what I want to see, man. I just really feel that was my issue in the beginning. That's why I said we won't beat Miami, we won't beat Philly, and we won't beat Milwaukee because they're too physical.
Yep.
They're too physical. We can't match it. And now the teams that weren't physical before that, when they play the Bulls, they know the style of play they need to play to beat us.
Yep.
And that's why we're struggling. I mean, even the games we're winning, I mean, we played very well versus Toronto. Well, the second half, that third quarter, Zach had sent us up, but we've struggled versus even not the greatest of teams. I mean, the way Sacramento attacked us with Davion Mitchell attacking our guards on defense, and then on the offensive end, he attacking them. The word is out, and we got to figure something out, man. I mean, hey, some gotta give if they want to at least not be embarrassed come playoff times. At the very least, I mean, if we stay in the position we're in, Boston is playing the best in the NBA right now. Not just the East, they're playing the best in the NBA right now. Do we think we can get a game versus them if we face them in the first round?
Even worse. Right now, as it sits right now, the Bulls are in the 5 spot. They would play the number 4 team. Guess who?
Boston.
Oh, so they jump Philly. No, they jump Philly. They jump Philly.
Oh.
But you know what? I'd rather see Philly than Boston right now.
Why?
Because I'll take my chances. I'll take my chances.
You have 0 chance against Philly.
I'll take my chances with playoff Harden. I will. I will take my chances.
But he's a beast in the first round. It's playoff Harden when it gets to like the conference finals or semifinals. That's when he show up.
Yeah, that's true. But I'll make him beat us. I'll triple team Embiid. Go ahead, Harden. Let's see you go crazy. But yeah,
looks like my 50-game prediction is not going to come true here.
That's
don't think that's happening.
Well, I tell you
what. I don't know if 47 gonna happen.
Yeah. But they need. I tell you what, if they got a chance to get 46, they need to win these next 4 games. That's their best chance to get above 45.
Let's see. They got New
Pelicans
Orleans
tomorrow,
Cleveland, New York, Washington.
That's their best chance down the stretch.
Those are the next 4.
Get some momentum. You know what I mean? And get some confidence because they're losing confidence now too, man. It's like a sinking ship.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. What responsibility does Billy Donovan bear in all of this?
Great question.
The fact that, I mean, what are they 0-16 against the top 3 teams in each conference?
He's not blameless,
mm-hmm.
but he can't make them. You are who you are. You can get stuff out of people, but it's got to be in there to some degree, and they have to be willing to want to extend themselves. And I think here's the thing: the Bulls play hard, so I don't think they, aside from last night's game with Grayson, like you said, let him go through. Somebody should have took a couple of shots at him, but they play hard, and they're in a lot of games, and they don't give up. And so, most of the year they played that way. That's why we've had so many wins, buzzer beating type kind of wins, or come back from behind, in the last 6-minute type of victories this year. So they play hard. So I think that, they're not tuning the coach out, and everybody seems to get along. So it's not a chemistry issue. It's a toughness issue. And some of that has been, and I know it sounds like an excuse, and maybe it is, some of that's just been the inconsistency of the roster. It's really hard to maintain that. Because because there were times where the Bulls, you could see it. Okay, here we go. We're about to take off. Injury. All right, about to take off. Injury, COVID, injury. And okay, all right, we're back now. We're getting going, and boom, injury. And those last 2 were Ball and Caruso. And it's like, we won't see you guys for a while. And when you come back, they're still not going to be where they were. And Ball hasn't come back yet. So we got Pat Will back, but you'd have missed the whole season basically. So it's tough to get that. Now that, and the thing is how much juggling, and we don't always see it, how much juggling and been back and forth and trying to figure things out with the roster and with the ways to attack and to try and cover up for things that Vooch doesn't bring, different liabilities that other players might have. Plus, you gotta, think of how much we've depended upon the rookie this year, and he's just starting to lose steam because he's hitting that wall. So I guess I didn't answer your question. How much of it's on him? I'd say anywhere from 10 to 25%, but I don't know where that is, and I think that vacillates depending upon who we're playing, and if it's a back-to-back, and how healthy is Levine, how healthy is this cat? You know what I mean? It's been like trying to grab some mercury. You try to grasp mercury, it slips through your fingers, and that's what this season's starting to feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree a lot with that. One thing I thought about the other day is the fact that I think what's caught up to us is the fact that we've had backups that has played the starting roles for a long time this season. That's not sustainable, in my opinion. It's just not sustainable to ask Ayo and Javonte Green to continue to Javonte, but it's just not sustainable. And and like, no disrespect to them, because they've done the best that they can do, but it comes to a point where, like, okay, they're backups for a reason. Like the offense has become, it has always been, especially since Ball went out, it's been very ISO, a lot of ISO, and like it just made me think about last year. What I always said, we need a point guard, and like Caruso is not that type of point guard.
No.
He's a defensive point guard. So like, and like that's truly, to me, what we're missing. Like, and we don't have shooting. We don't have the knockdown shooter that you cannot leave open. We don't have it. Like if we just had one on this team right now, I think we'll win. I think we'll have 45 to 46 wins right now. Yeah. If we just had one true shooter, because at that point you cannot collapse on DeRozan and Levine like they continue to do now. Like, because you have that one guy. Like Lonzo, when he was there, he was streaky. He was doing good, but he still, to me, wasn't
he at over 40% from three?
Yeah, but he ain't a Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, he's not a value.
He ain't a Duncan Robinson. He ain't a Kyle Korver. He ain't a guy that you keep Bullseye leaving him open. Like, you would take your chance with Lonzo, and he might heat up on you. Then you make the adjustment. But you're going to come into the game with your mind on it, knowing I can't leave Duncan Robinson. I can't leave Evan Fournier, stuff like that, So that's key. DeRozan is starting to have to work extremely hard for buckets, and that efficiency is no longer there.
Yeah.
He is not efficient at all, no more. So, and that hurts.
Yeah, you make, that's a great point, and I agree with you. I've been, even going into the season, I'm like, they don't have that sharpshooter, they don't have that dead eye. But what they had and have on the roster, but just not healthy, what they have is a lot of guys that can shoot threes.
Mm-hmm.
But which helped DeRozan. Like, you got Ball, you got Caruso, but none of them are like knockdown 3-point shooters. But you got a lot of them, so you kind of have to respect. Like, even Vooch, he can get streaky. Against Toronto, he was 3 for 4.
Mm-hmm. He started out 3 for 3 yesterday.
Right. So it's like, they're guys that can shoot the three, hit the three, but they're not a Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the dad. Like when the Bulls were winning championships, when you had Paxson and Kerr, not at the same time, but you had Paxson, Kerr, you had Trent Tucker. You had Hodges. The Bulls usually had 2.
Actually, they did. They had 1 year together.
Did they have 1 year? Yeah, but not championship wise though.
No, it was 94. 94.
It didn't matter. we don't talk. We don't speak of that year. But they, you know what I'm saying? The Bulls had, they, you know, that was part of their recipe. That was a record on that team to have a player that can you just had to, I mean, think about it. When the fans, just think about it as a fan, when you're watching the Bulls and you see Kerr get ready, you're like, you know, kaboom, if you listen to the radio, or, you know, you Steve Kerr, right? Everybody's like, oh, you know, everyone's breath because they know it's like, dude, he about to hit the, even the other teams, like other teams' heads, like, damn, why'd y'all leave that fool open?
Yep.
And even when we had with the Roll Squad, we had what's the
Corver. He brought
Kyle Korver.
Smoke brought up Korver.
Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, dude. It's like, man, dude, you can't leave that guy open. So it does make a difference. And yet, like what B said, it's making a difference with DeRozan and his efficiency, and even Zach too. These guys are working extra hard to have to try and get these baskets. And the crazy thing is, the shots are there. We're just not making them. Like,
we're not making them.
Vooch would be
not
open.
making them.
Bruce will be open and missing them. It's just like, you know, Javante's even taking them. It's just like, you got a little good to him at one point. But, you know, it's just, and even Jones can hit them. Like, we got guys that can hit them, but you can't depend on them. And that's kind of like the Bull season right now. We can't depend on them making the playoffs right now. This play-in game is looking more and more like a reality. You know, it was just kind of scary. So, but if they can win these next 4, at least 3 out of the next 4, and build some momentum, who knows? Yeah. Some things can work in their favor.
They better, because after that they hit some pretty good teams with the Clippers, the Heat, Milwaukee, Boston, Charlotte, and then close with Minnesota.
Oh, playoff teams.
Yeah. So that'll be a good look. One last thing with the Bulls, Lonzo Ball, they're saying, I guess he's not responding to treatment on his knee. Should he just be shut down for the remainder of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't even play with it.
Don't even play with it. It's meniscus, and you know, we saw it took D Rose a while to recover from that. And the only guy I can think of that came back from meniscus, because I think he just doesn't care about anything, is Russell Westbrook. Like, he had his meniscus thing, came back, I think, in the same season and was still balling. But that dude's just, he's got a different kind of mindset. But man, Ball, yeah, man, just, it's not worth it, bro. It's not. We're talking, we just got you.
Yeah.
Okay. We need you to last. And if lasting means we just shut you down now for later, then let's do that. As at this point, you know, I'm willing to shut Zach down like 1 out of every 3 games.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Okay, seriously. Are we going past the first round if we make the playoffs? No. This guy wants a big time contract, right?
Yes.
We want him to have that big time contract. We like Zach. Everybody likes Zach. There's no problem. There's zero wrong with Zach. We feel good about Zach and what he offers. And he's just starting to hit his stride. He's only like, 26, 27 years old. He's just starting to reach that superstar. He's reaching towards being a superstar. He's a star, but he's reaching towards being a superstar. He ain't going to be that if his legs ain't right. And if his knee, because a lot of his game, and granted, he's as skilled as all get out, but what sets him apart, his quickness and his athleticism is above everybody. He's an elite athlete. And he becomes just another athlete if he doesn't remain or retain what makes him special. And his bounce, his quickness, his explosiveness, those are the things that make him special. And you need to have your knees and your lower body, but at the worst. To me, it's not worth it. I shut him down 1 out of every 3 games. I really would.
That seems like a lot. I don't know. I understand back-to-backs. But what you have
here, you're talking about a guy who already had a knee injury, already had a severe knee injury, and this issue, this bulky knee, has been affecting his back. So we're talking knee and back. I don't need to have that be a chronic situation going forward. I'm talking about trying to invest, hundreds of millions of dollars in this cat.
So then, if this year doesn't mean anything, then you might as well shut down.
It doesn't mean anything. There's still meaning within it.
You mean you're getting in it, even if it's the play-in, you're getting in.
Yes.
The postseason, whether you play Zach the rest of the 10 or sit them like GM say once every 3 games. You're getting in. So it's not the end of the world, but you're also trying to protect your future as well. So I mean, I understand it. I mean, got to be realistic. It's time to make tough decisions. Do you really expect this team, if you're, AK, do you really expect this team to make a run in the playoffs? Like no. You have to be realistic with yourself as the GM, as the president. You have to be realistic, and you don't. So at that point, hey, year 1, you did a good job of building a competitive team. We took a step in the right direction. Now what needs to happen from here? What moves do we need to make? Who could we move that's currently on a roster to bring in somebody to make us better? Zach, is he a part of our future? Which I think they're going to probably say yes.
Has to be.
They don't have a choice.
Exactly. So you have to protect it. Mm-hmm. You can't just say, no, we going all in, and realistically we don't have a chance. So I don't think it's a bad idea. If somehow you do make that decision and you go into the play-in, I'm confident in the Bulls in the play-in versus any of those teams. I mean,
the teams. The teams under 6, they don't have a problem with.
As long as it's not the Nets.
Not the Nets.
Everybody else, but they can't seem to beat. But whether it's Miami, Philly, Boston, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, they can't seem to beat Brooklyn healthy. They can't seem to get past those guys.
But see, that's the thing too. It's like if you sit on 1 out of every 3 games, and you do when you play in game, you're in the playoffs. I still want Zach in the playoffs. That's the other reason. It's like I'm looking. If you make it, I want him to be as healthy as he can be.
Yeah.
So play games, and maybe at that point we're minute watching or we're evaluating him on the court. But if you try to play him 10 games left, you try to play him 8 of them, I don't know what kind of Zach's going to be left, going into the playoffs. I really don't. And then you talk about a core element to your future as far as how you're going to, structure this franchise going forward. And so, yeah, I think you need to really consider protecting that asset.
Bulls are in New Orleans. If you can get a plane ticket down there, plenty of seats available. Guess how much you can get a ticket for right now?
$15.
Lower.
No, are you sure? I was being silly when I said 15.
No.
$12.50?
$9.
Really?
For a Bulls game?
For Bulls, Pelicans in New Orleans.
Oh, in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, yeah.
Hey, dude, New Orleans is nice. Hey, crawfish.
Hey.
I went to school in Louisiana. Hey, my New Orleans people know how much I love them.
I had some good nights in New Orleans. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there for the people. If you can get down there, it's cheap. Hey, let's move on to some football. It is the business part of the NFL schedule, free agency, and man, I don't know. Has there been this much movement of top tier talent?
Top tier talent? No.
Yeah,
I can't.
I can't think of a time that's been like this.
Never.
This is crazy.
Never.
Today, I get up and Tyreek Hill is traded from the Chiefs to the Dolphins for 5 draft picks. They get the 1. What was it? The 1, the 2,
1, 2, a 3. 1 first round, second round, third. I'm sorry, first, second, and fourth for this year.
I think they get the first next year
from
another team. Oh,
maybe from another team. But as far as the Tyreek Hill deal goes, they get a first, a second, and a fourth. and they get a 4th and a 6th for 2023.
Oh, okay.
Man, that's a Herschel Walker type deal there, man.
Yeah, but the Dolphins, they have.
Oh, no, it's closer. No, Ricky Williams.
Maybe. I mean, they just gave around the whole draft. They gave the whole draft away for Ricky Williams.
Well, that's what the Dolphins just. They gave him their top 3 picks.
No, top 1, 2, and 4.
You said 1, 2, 3.
No.
1, 2, and 4.
I said 1, 2, and 4.
Oh, 1, 2, and 4. Okay. Okay.
4.
Yeah, still, that's a lot. That's a lot of capital.
Well,
and then turned around and gave him a what was it? A 4-year, $120 million contract. That's.
You look at the Dolphins; they still have 5 picks this year. They got a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and 2 7th-round picks. But they've done so much in free agency that they've kind of compensated for their not having the quote unquote draft capital they just gave away. I mean, they've been a monster in free agency, dude. So, I mean, you look at their squad, it's like, man, like, who are you guys? Like, damn, like, your team is looking pretty on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Right. Because, I mean, but look at the speed, man. Oh, my God. The speed of the receiver, it's got super ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, bro. You got Waddle and Devontae Parker.
Can Tua get the ball to them?
Right. That's the
question.
That's the question. But you know what? You can throw it sideways to Hill. He can still go far with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He doesn't have to run 60 yards downfield in order to make a play. He can get it done, getting him the ball 2 yards in open space, and he'll take it the distance.
Now, here's my question, and I guess they're okay. I'm talking about the Dolphins. I know we're going to talk about other teams, obviously, and the Bears, of course. But the Dolphins picked up Teron Armstead from the Saints. He's free agent. Right, he's a free agent. But he's a left tackle. Tua's a left-handed quarterback. That's not Tua's blind side. So I guess they feel good with the young guy they had who was a rookie, I think, last year, or maybe he's a second-year guy, and Hunt. He's got a good size right tackle, but I don't know. I guess I won't say you just flip them because, it's not a video. You just flip them. I mean, Teron's, and you're an offensive lineman. Usually if you're.
Well, I would say it depends on, and this is going to sound crazy, what his dominant hand is.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, Armstead's dominant hand is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been playing so long. Though,
I understand that he's been playing with his left foot back for the longest time, and he's probably tried his best to make that his power foot. But if he's right-handed and you move him to he can move to the right side, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. The opposite, and I've done it, that's tougher. Okay. Moving from the right side to the left side. That's and you're right dominant. That's tougher. But man, you need tackle. You need good tackles on both sides. So even if he stays on the left side,
that's true. Hey, dude,
because here you think about it like this. It's probably easier for a dominant pass rusher coming from the right side than it is than the left side.
The defensive left side or defensive right?
Yeah, left ends. Your most dominant pass rusher usually comes from the right side.
Right.
Except for Mac.
Right. And a few other people. I think Bosa's usually on that.
Bosa comes from the left side, yeah. But
now he switched over because Mac's there now, though.
Yeah. So
on that side too.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Okay. Yeah, but the Dolphins, you know what? I would give up what they gave up to get a talent like Tyreek, and I think he's just 28, so he's still young enough, definitely for that contract. He'll just be in his right there. I mean, look, by the time he's 32, he'll be slow enough that he's still faster than like 2/3 of the league, or 3/4 of the league. So, but you said Tua getting the ball to him, but man, dude, you got Hill and Waddle. Ooh, that is some speed, bro. And they got Chase Edmonds, so you got some speed off the backfield too. It isn't. I think I was talking to you earlier. It's just an arms race. The AFC stands for arms. So race. It's the arms race. Yeah. Arms race football conference because it has gotten because everyone's focused on the quarterbacks, which I understand it. We should, and it is significant. But people are forgetting about all the talent drain. I mean, pass rushers. Dude, look at the pass rushers that are in the AFC now. Von Miller goes back to the AFC, and he's on the Bills. Like the Bills needed more help, which I guess they did. Chandler Jones leaves Arizona, just goes next door to Nevada, and he's with the Vegas Raiders now. And he's matched up with Crosby on the side. So you get 2 edge rushers there. And we saw what the Bengals did with 2 edge rushers when they had a free agent pickup with Hendrickson last year, along with their player Hubbard. So they got Henderson and Hubbard. But you look at the Chargers you mentioned, they got Khalil Mack and Bosa. I mean, dude, it is ridiculous. And the Chiefs, I get it. It's
wait. You ain't mentioned Denver.
Oh, Denver with Chubb and they got
Randy Gregory.
Right. Randy Gregory. So, dude, that is mad. That's just in one division.
That division is going to be ridiculous, man.
And think about the quarterbacks that have got, like, you got Matt Ryan's with the Colts now.
Right.
With Denver. Dude, look, okay. Hold on. I'm laughing.
So you went defensive, then you went quarterbacks, and then you got it's still others. It's still others.
Right. It's still others. like these receivers bouncing around, it's like and it's not over. This free agency is still, still viable. You still got other guys out there. You still got some really top talent. OBJ, Odell Beckham still out there.
Yeah.
And like
Julio Jones out there.
Right. And you like Beckham, you're like, okay, maybe he's not the guy that he was when he was the guy in New York and he was that. But you saw what he was doing in the Super Bowl before he got injured. At worst,
did he tear his ACL?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Okay.
But at worst, you could slide him into somebody's slot. I mean, put him on the Chargers in the slot. Oh, now all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, you got Allen and Michael Williams and then and Beckham in the slot. Good luck with that, dude. It is mind blowing, and the draft hasn't even happened yet. And so, you look at the NFC is, look, I don't know if you remember or not, Smoke, as I'm sure you do. There was a period like from like the mid 80s into like the late 90s.
It was all NFC.
That was all NFC. And
I remember that.
Super Bowl basically was an NFC championship game. That's really what the Super Bowl was. The Super Bowl was unwatchable until Denver finally broke it and beat the Packers. You know what I'm saying? It was just unwatchable. It's about to be like that now because the AFC is just gotten out of control. And Jadeveon Clowney's still out there. I mean, the Browns are trying to figure out how they can re-sign him.
He's overrated.
Yeah, as the guy, but when
he's overrated.
But when you're paired with someone like Myles Garrett, you have to be the guy, and now you're a lot more effective. I'm just saying, dude, it's goofy. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you kicking yourself up? Maybe not waiting to see if you can get Matt Ryan instead of Mitchell Trubisky, because you're trying to win. Because the Steelers are kind of in a win now mode to some degree with their defense, especially if you look at their defense. They're kind of got a smaller window. Their offense is a little bit wider because of the young talent, skill talent. But Mitchell Trubisky is your quarterback. Hold on. The reason why I said Matt Ryan is because the experience, and you want somebody can complete passes in this conference because he's not playing. Like Mitch was killing. He was killing Detroit. He was killing the Vikings. He's going to be facing the Jackson.
He killed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, that one game.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, he is going to be facing Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. DeShaun Watson, Browns twice. The Super Bowl participant, Cleveland Bengals, who are young as hell and getting
Cleveland Bengals. Cincinnati
Bengals, excuse me. Getting then you look at they got to play the AFC West. We don't even need to talk about that with Mahomes, Herbert, Carr, and Wilson. But then you go over to the East, which is like, the East not that good. Well, au contraire, mon frere, you got Buffalo with Allen. Tua's gotten more help now, so Tagovailoa's got more help at receiver and in the offensive line. And Mac Jones had a pretty good rookie year, and he's got arguably the best coach in football, so he's not going to be asked to do things he can't do. And they're probably going to get some more talent to help him out. And then the Jets, who were probably the worst team, had a top 2 pick last year. And you just got to figure out all that talent. At some point, they'll be maybe a little bit better. So you're hoping the Jets don't get better than you or start not better, but stay where they're at. And then you look at the South, you're like, well, hell, the South is easy. Oh, wait. The Colts just picked up Matt Ryan. That just changed things. So now you
Tennessee gonna still be relevant, I believe.
Yeah, Tennessee will still be relevant because of Henry, but Henry makes Tannehill better. You know what I'm saying? And then Lawrence, you got to imagine they got rid of that scumbag that drained on humanity in Urban Meyer. They got rid of him. So just they're by what is it? How they say it? An upgrade by losing
addition
him.
By subtraction.
Subtraction. Thank you. So addition by subtraction, and they got a coach who won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. So he's going to be there to develop, and he was developing Carson Wentz before he tore his knee. Carson Wentz was going to be MVP that year. So now, and they're spending money crazy too, dude. Houston has a whole bunch of draft picks. They might be better. So the worst teams in the AFC are the Jets and Houston. And the Pittsburgh can't play them twice a year.
Yeah.
Dude.
But they say
maybe Mitch figured it out, man.
I don't know. Pittsburgh ain't really sold on Mitch because they saying if the Browns get frisky and release Baker,
they might pick him up.
They picking him up.
That's
well, that's what's going to happen. No one's going to trade for Baker Mayfield at this point.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's no way. I'm not giving you anything for him. Release him.
Because who needs? It's in all seriousness. Who's looking for a starter at this point?
Seattle.
Yep.
And I'm sure they're saying why trade?
But I'm not trading.
No, not trading him. But the head coach is not young, so he might be ready to win sooner than later. So maybe. And
where is Baker gonna go on the open market? He's gonna want to start somewhere.
He's gonna have to do Tannehill. He's gonna have to be like Tannehill. I heard somebody else say it earlier, and I was like, yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna have to do the Tannehill route or the Marcus Mariota route. Mm-hmm. Be a backup until
somebody made a great point today. I think it was Dan Orlowski said, man, go to Tampa.
Go to Tampa.
You understudy the time.
Play under Brady.
You understudy the time.
It's not an awful idea.
It's not a terrible idea.
That's what Steve Young did. I don't think he did it voluntarily, but
I think they traded for him too.
How did he? Yeah, the 49ers traded for him from Tampa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, why not?
That makes a lot of sense too. Because if there's any ego that Baker Mayfield can sit behind and shut the fuck up in a meeting, it's gonna be Tom Brady.
And humble them. Yeah.
Right. Dude, it's funny you say that, those words, humble them. I remember when Oklahoma, this is when Baker was at Oklahoma, and they were playing Georgia, and they thought they had the game won. And Georgia came back and won the game. And at the end of the game, one of the defensive players, I can't remember who it was, said, "You need to humble yourself, boy."
Yeah.
I was like, I said,
that was in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I was like, truth. And sure enough, dude, he still hasn't learned that lesson, man. You need a dose of humility, and getting smacked, on top of your head and getting kicked out on your ass is probably something that's going to humble him. I mean, it's going to be like those Browns, those commercials, for whoever he was doing it for, where he can't get back into the gates when he gets locked out.
The progressive.
Yeah, it got real aggressive.
That foreshadowing.
So hey, let's sticking with the Browns though. They went out and made the trade for DeShaun Watson to bring him in and made him the richest player in NFL history. Was it 5 years, $230 million, all guaranteed?
Fully guaranteed.
What do you guys think about that? That's interesting.
My thing is too long. I'll let Smoke go because y'all.
Well, so my thing is, number one, that's very risky. Very risky. Now, I am a huge DeShaun Watson fan. I believe in his talent. But one, you're coming off a full year of not playing football. A full year. So to give him all that, and he hasn't come back to prove himself yet. Last time we saw DeShaun Watson, and I'm taking this from Nick Wright. So I'm going to go back before the last full season he played. I'm going to go back to the last playoff game he played. The last playoff game, that was the season before the last season he played.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He was winning 24-0.
Right.
On the Chiefs, was it?
Chiefs, yeah.
And was shut out in the second half.
Yeah.
Since then, he won 4 games. Now I understand the roster was completely.
They came to Soldier Field.
I completely understand.
They came to Soldier Field, and I felt bad for the kid.
I completely understand. Now, then you miss a full year after that.
Okay.
And he's going to probably get suspension this season.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a big risk. It's a big risk, but guess what? I would do it. Just say I would do it.
You said I give him
so what, you would give him the 230?
Guaranteed.
I probably would have gave him the 230 and maybe
Guaranteed.
150. Probably 150 would have been guaranteed. I probably wouldn't have gave him the full 230 guaranteed.
And then do the slick move and make the first year only worth $1 million.
Yeah. That was slick. That was slick. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I'm interested to see what happens. I want to see what happens. I want to see him thrive. The talent is there in Cleveland. You got guys saying they want to come back now. Odell said he's open to coming back.
I'm sure. Yeah.
The team is willing to go back and get Landry.
Odell going anywhere, man.
He'd go. He wouldn't have went back to Cleveland if Baker was still the guy.
That's very true.
So it's interesting to see. I've been watching the shows all week and people talking about, the Browns are kind of insensitive for, doing this, and he still has all these civil cases out. He shouldn't be able to play until the civil cases are settled. I want to be on the record to say I completely disagree with that, because who are we to say a person shouldn't make a living fighting a case? And what if he end up innocent? But who's to say how long this stuff can go on? This can go on for years.
Yeah, civil.
And we're saying this guy shouldn't play until they're settled. It's 22 cases.
Yeah.
Like, he can't make a living until. So what happens if he's innocent? He don't get that time back. Now, and he faced no criminal charges. I still don't know how that stuff goes. You don't face criminal charges, but I just hate the legal system in America, period. But like, yeah, I'm rooting for him to be successful. I'm praying for him that, he get through these situations, how it happened. I mean, if innocent, he's, good for him. If guilty, he need to. I don't know. Let me go home.
Glenn,
move on.
I gotta hear what you got to say.
Yeah, move on.
A lot to unpack there. Really good article if you guys get a chance to read it in the Atlantic. The Athletic. The Athletic. Jason Lloyd wrote about it. Gives you a real good look at how things kind of went down. And from reading that, you find out that Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, had on his team 3 female attorneys who were responsible for vetting Watson before they even took the case. Okay, so I guess 3 females, pretty obvious sexual allegations against women. So you find the women and go by, their acumen and how they assess Watson, and they went back to Georgia. They did whatever their due diligence was, enough that Rusty Hardin took the case. I guess that says a little something. but they're on Rusty Harden's team, and it's not all altruism. They're trying to, money. He's a rich athlete, so is it worth us? Does he have enough money? Blah blah blah. Can he pay the time? I'm being a little cynical there. So that was one step. And before the Browns went any further, and this is after the criminal allegations, I think had been dismissed by the grand jury. The Browns spoke with those female lawyers and also another lawyer, Leticia Quinones. And from that, they felt comfortable enough to go speak with him. The reason why I say all that is because when they flew to meet, and keep in mind, they flew to meet him, okay? So he didn't come see them. They flew to meet him. The part of the team, they kept it small. Like the Saints brought like 10 people. The Browns only brought just a few, I think maybe half of that, or just 4 people. It was Jimmy and Dee Haslam, and Dee Haslam is the wife. So that's important. And the head coach went Kevin Stefanski, and the general manager went Andrew Berry. So those are the ones who went down there to make a pitch. They didn't have a big PowerPoint. They just went down there to talk. And the thing that bothers me a little bit is that only about a half hour of this 2-hour or so meeting, only about a half hour was spent on the allegations. And this is kind of my sticking point, because I've been the biggest DeShaun Watson fan, going back to Clemson, arguing it. I was so upset when the Bears did not take him, especially when they moved up to 2. I was like, oh my God, they're actually going to take him. So, and the fact that he's proven everything on the field that you said, Smoke, he 3-time Pro Bowler, everything. I mean, even that last year he played, he still led the league in passing yards. You know what I'm saying? So the dude, he can do it on the field. There's no doubt about that. Although his one game in Cleveland, he threw for like 140 yards, bad weather, and they lost that game to the Browns. But I digress. Anyway, only a half hour was spent, and I'm thinking like, is that all we're given? To the situation? And more time was spent talking football. And he and Stefanski had a one-on-one, and they really seemed to hit it off well. And that relationship that spawned during that meeting, I went a long way, I think, to DeShaun deciding to come back to Cleveland after he said no. And the Falcons were pushing really hard. I thought he was going to go to the Falcons. They pulled all the emotional strings. You're a former ball boy here. You're from Georgia. Blase this. You play indoors. Yada yada. The AFC or the NFC South is weak. You can come in and dominate. But the thing that I think won out with the Browns, and why DeShaun was open to coming back to the Browns, I think he reluctantly said no to the Browns, mainly just because it was a city he wasn't comfortable with and because of the inclement weather. But you look at the rosters for those 4 teams that were the finalists, and there were 5 teams that he being Watson gave for his no trade clause to be rescinded. The one team was in a division, so the Houston said no to that. So the 4 teams, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, and the Browns. So those 3 teams are in the same division. The Browns was the only cold weather team. But the roster for the Browns, by far, and this is why Baker Mayfield's stock really dropped, because, like, dude, you had everything. You had 2 running backs. You had 3 wide receivers. You had 2 to 3 tight ends. You had a good offensive line. You had a great young defense. How did you want to play? How did you get worse? How did you not become better after making it, that one step against Pittsburgh in the playoffs? So Watson was looking at that, and of all those teams, he can win now and for the foreseeable future, because those guys are young. Most of the guys on the defense are like 26 or younger. You look at that offense, it's pretty young. And offensive players, as we can tell, these receivers seem to keep coming in every single year. So all those things appealed to Watson, but I think overall his connection with Stefanski had a lot to do with it. And he liked how, then you read the article, you see how he liked how the interaction was even between the people who were there, like the owners and stuff. And even in the Mrs. Haslam, how she spoke about the things he's going to have to do in the community, that things that he's going to have to do to probably, obviously kind of clear his image up and the things he's done. But I have a problem with the fact that everything is focusing so much on football. What message are we? I don't know about the NFL, because the NFL don't care about anything but its money. But as we as fans, what message are we giving and sending when we're excited about the fact that he's signing for the Browns, but nothing's been concluded about what's happened? Now, yes, allegations are allegations. criminal charges have been dropped. So that leads some credence to maybe things weren't maybe on board or what they were said to be said. But 22 is a lot. So you were doing something. And to your questions, you're like, if the criminals drop, I don't understand why the civil, how this is even still a deal. Because a lot of times with civil criminals, like, okay, we don't think a crime was committed, but your activity still had an effect. And something from that effect is what the money's going to help try to repair, so it's intentions and kind of like impact. Maybe your intention, we can't take you for your intention, but the impact from what you did, civilly speaking, this is where the money's going to kind of help in that recompense. So, and like I said, big DeShaun Watson fan, but I'm like this now. I'm squeamish. And it's not just because I have, my wife and 4 daughters, but that does add to it. I'm like, okay, dude, what if my daughter is one of those people? What if someone's daughter are those individuals? In the NFL, and this is where the NFL, where I'm like, after NFL, it's like, okay, so this is cool, but Colin Kaepernick's out here begging for a job. And he didn't do a damn thing wrong, didn't do shit wrong. What he did wrong was put the mirror up to your hypocrisy. That's what he did wrong. He had the audacity to call you for your shit in the world for its ignorance and its blind, ignorance and purposefully blind ignorance about what's going on. And now you want to monetize that 2 years later in the Super Bowl? Fuck y'all. You seriously? End racism on the back of the helmets. You got stuff in the end zone. Let's play the Black national anthem and let's have the Super Bowl. We're gonna have blah blah blah. But dude still can't get a job because what? You worry about your bottom line because what? The fans. But here's the thing, the fans don't want to see Colin Kaepernick because he reminds them of their own fragility. It's bullshit, man.
Yeah. But I asked this though when it comes to that because you said the NFL. When it comes to Colin Kaepernick, it's the owners. Because Goodell can't make nobody put that man on their team.
I didn't say Goodell. I said the NFL, and the NFL are the owners.
They're the owners, yeah.
So I did not say Goodell. No.
But so do you? Well, I guess when I
Goodell works for the owners,
because like you said with the Black national anthem and stuff, you think that's going through the owners as well? To do that type of stuff? Or
yeah, because it's like we do this, the noise dies down. They can't say you're racist. Look, man, it's worse to be called a racist to them than with actually addressing the shit that's racist that they do. You
think they care to be called? I think they don't give a damn. Honestly,
no, they care. They care.
I think them owners don't care.
And in the public light, they do.
Image wise, and it affects the money and the bottom and the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does because your league is 70+% Black. If the players don't want to play, your league is bullshit. And if you keep pushing that note that we don't care, and it's the inmates running the asylum, like the deceased Houston Texan owner once said, and that stuff starts to permeate, at some point
it should have been permeated.
And
that's my thing.
Smoke, I think you're right. In private, they don't care.
Right.
But they like to Glenn's point, they care about their image.
I feel like that should have been permeated with these players. I feel like these players are not going to step up and sacrifice losing money. Like that's why I think the owners don't care because they know the money will talk to these players. And that's I think that's the way I look at it. More so. I kind of understand what y'all are saying, that they do care about their public image. Like they don't want to be just out here and people saying, "Oh, you openly racist," and they like don't give a damn. But I feel like they show that they care. They know their money will keep these guys playing, and that's what frustrates me a lot.
Yes. But there have been times in the past, especially during the civil rights era, where the players had some solidarity, and one of those times came around when it was an all-star game or a Pro Bowl game type thing in New Orleans. And this is before the Saints had their franchise. And the Black players, going to New Orleans, couldn't eat in the restaurants, couldn't, how that deal went. And the players were like, well, we're not going to play. And they got it to a point to the NFL said, well, we're not going to play. And you probably won't get this franchise in New Orleans if you don't acquiesce. I think it was going to be at the Cotton, somewhere in New Orleans. The dome hadn't been built yet. Like I said, this is like in the late 60s.
Right. Tulane Stadium or something.
Yeah, probably Tulane.
Yeah.
Right. So these things, it has happened before. That's when the players didn't have the economic backing or economic wherewithal that they have now. And don't forget, the XFL is about to happen. There have been other leagues that have happened. USFL is coming back. Who's to say? And with in the TV rights aren't what they used to be. You get your stuff streaming now. All it takes is for a few people with the right idea and a right plan, and they can change some things. It can be revolutionary in a lot of ways. You see what's happening to HBCU now. They're getting into the game a little bit more so. They've been not X'd out for so long because they didn't have the financial wherewithal to compete with all the big schools, so to speak. But now the playing fields, and they're not level, but they're starting to level down. So, and you look at Devontae Adams. I look at Devontae Adams saying F you to the Green Bay Packers as a sign to say, you know what? Because the money wasn't that much different. It's like, nah, it's about more than the money. And yeah, he's still getting paid. He's going to the Raiders. But my point is that sometimes people think they know you and they think that, you're going to do what we think you should do because, we think you should do that. And you can say no. You can say no to that. You've seen that with the quarterbacks, with Russell Wilson. These guys are having, even DeShaun Watson, and how we started this conversation, had leverage. Here's a dude, he had 22 allegations. His no trade clause gave him leverage. So if you can leverage this, you can leverage that. If you can leverage that, you can leverage something else. So I'll never say never, but these NFL owners that, Rome fell because of what happened inside. It wasn't because of the external stuff that when Rome fell down. And usually any empire, it crumbles from within. And the NFL is showing a lot of cracks, dude. They use some really good Gorilla Glue right now, or some super glue to keep it together. But there's a lot of cracks in NFL's infrastructure right now. And if they're not careful, and and people's, arrogance, overconfidence, condescension, all those things, you just look at the Miami Dolphins owner. Those things, they're the ugliness. Look at how much ugliness has come out. Urban Meyer, Gruden, the Miami Dolphins owner. Come on, man. It stinks. It stinks. It's starting to rot from within. If they're not careful, it can crumble. The basketball is waiting to take the mantle,
Hey, you named, I don't want to harp on this, but you named those three. And those three teams been making quite the moves this offseason.
I said the super glue, bro, dries quick.
Just saying, I seem like the Bears, don't nobody want to come here.
Oh, you know what? That's right. We're supposed to talk about
we need to talk about them.
We forgot about the Bears.
That's a good segue there. Good
Thanks,
segue. So let's just start with what they've done so far in free agency, the Bears. Their big free agent splash was Larry Ogunjobi. And oops. Yeah, he failed his physical, so he didn't end up signing. So let's just start there. What was your thought when you heard that?
I mean, cool. Okay, you found the injury. You didn't sign a dude to a big money deal. You didn't, get yourself all caught up, and you can't, get out of something. And outside of other regimes here in Chicago that would do something like that, that was an upside. Ironically, however, I'll say this right quick. Ironically, the guy we got, Justin Jones, was on IR last year. He only had 3 sacks with 5 quarterback pressures. So did we just kind of just do the same thing in a different kind of manner with less money?
Clearly, he passed his physical. Now
he passed his physical.
Yeah,
less money, huh?
And it's less money, but he passed his physical.
Okay.
I thought it was for me, it showed competency in the new regime. There's been far too many times where we've gotten guys in. Chris Williams, Tevin Jenkins is another one, where you find out too late that this dude's got some injury problems.
Right.
So I thought it was a good. I didn't think it was. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's the same old Bears. They messed up." No,
Kevin White.
I didn't think
White.
that,
Yeah.
man. So I was, and maybe I didn't see enough of the guy or nothing like that. So I didn't really know who he was. I'm gonna just be honest. Anjunobi, how you say his name?
Ogunjobi.
Ogunjobi.
Yeah.
But I follow a Bears guy on Twitter, and when the Bears reportedly signed him, he posted a video of what's our center name?
Mustafa. Sam Mustafa.
Mustafa. That's
Yeah.
our center.
Yeah.
The new center or the
But
old
the Bears center from last season.
Yeah.
Mustafa?
Mustafa.
Mustafa. So he posted a video. He said, "Yeah, shout out to the Bears for signing a guy who was getting manhandled by easily the Bears' worst lineman." And he was showing the video of Mustafa destroying this guy, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then, and then next thing you know, he don't pass the physical. I'm like, "Well, look, that might have been a blessing in disguise." I don't know.
Sometimes you got a guy's number. Which, by the way,
you get the best of them. I get it. Yeah, it was just funny to me. It was like,
I think Mustafa's back. By the way, I think he resigned a 1-year deal.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
But yeah, you mentioned Glenn. You mentioned Justin Jones came right after the Ogunjobi news happened. He signed right away.
Right.
At defensive tackle. Nicholas Morrow, linebacker from the Raiders, has signed. Al-Qadim Muhammad, defensive end from that was in Indy with Eberflus. Lucas Patrick, guard from the Packers.
Never trust a man with 2 first names.
That's good point. Byron Pringle, wide receiver from the Chiefs.
Never trust a guy that sounds like a chip, man.
I don't even know, man. I know who this guy is. St. Brown from the Packers. I can't pronounce his first name. So
Yes.
I'm not even say it.
Equanimous.
Okay. I just hate when people mispronounce my name, so I'm not even gonna try to do that.
Brother plays with the Lions, I believe, right?
Yeah, he does.
Right. Yeah. Fast family of sprinters.
They got another offensive lineman, Dakota Dozier from Minnesota, and my favorite signing of this offseason.
Oh God, here we go.
The Bears got them a fullback. Kari Blasingame. Now, I don't know if he can play, but he has a fullback's build. I am a huge believer in having a fullback in your offense.
Yes, I agree.
Big time believer.
I agree
in that. And there were a lot of people saying, man, other teams out here signing real dudes and Bears signing fullbacks.
Oh,
I like the move. And I know that, right now we got to be realistic. He's not building his team for 2023 or for 2022.
No, you might be right. Might not be for 2023.
I think he's going to start. I think he's going to start in 2023. That's when they're going to get all this cap relief. They're going to have 100 plus. The cap's going up,
right?
Because that's when the new CBA is in effect.
And let me ask you this: as you're continuing this path,
yeah,
it doesn't just go up for the Bears; it also goes up for all the other 31.
It does. Okay, but I'm saying it's going to be a lot of money available for the Bears to make some moves. So I understand. Hey, he's trying to evaluate. I'm talking about Ryan Bowles. He's trying to evaluate what's going on here. We're not making a playoff push. Let's just be realistic.
Do you see how we are as Bear fans? How we've been kowtowed to believe that, our lack of doing anything is explainable?
It is.
The Bengals just went to the freaking Super Bowl and they won like what?
They didn't go year one. They didn't go to year one. They went year two.
Hey man, but look at it this way. Look, I'm a Joe Burrow fan. I like it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But let's look at it this way now. Hey, that was one of our wins last year. We beat their ass. That was one of our wins last year. That's number one. Number two, if Aaron Rodgers and however many players you want to say on the Vikings got hurt, we probably got in the playoffs too and messed around and did something. Never know. The Bengals, let's not ignore. They benefited from some, fortunate in their division. Just saying. Just saying. Hey, it can happen for us too. Just saying. Aaron Rodgers could go down week 1, not come back. Seems like every time we win the division, that's what happens.
That's usually Wait, Devontae's gone. Another drain to the AFC, by the way. But yes, Devontae's gone. So
they might lose. It's another receiver that's still a free agent for them.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah.
He might sign with. I think he might sign with the Chiefs. He's in with the Chiefs this week.
Like, damn, who the hell they gonna get? They're gonna
draft.
That's not
done. I thought that was a done deal already.
Was it? Okay.
With the Chiefs?
I thought, yeah. Maybe not.
So shit, all he got is Lazard.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's got Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb is still, but he's gone. I think he's gone.
No, Randall wouldn't leave his boy, would he?
But I mean.
But anyway, I'm just saying that yes, we have not made the biggest splashes in the NFL. I didn't expect them to do that this year.
Oh, we did. Come on now, stop tripping, dog. We made a splash when we gave away somebody. Come on, that was our one splash. We gave away
everything. All I'm saying, everything is fine. Everything's
now.
Fine.
I ask this: so the money we freed up, like getting rid of Mac and all that stuff doesn't go into play into next season, or it was.
I mean, we got some savings this year. But it's going to be like a dramatic shift next year.
And you won't have to deal with as much dead money going into follow.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm fine with what he's done so far. Now, the key here is that they're able to develop number one. That's all that matters.
You do that with Byron Pringle, huh? That's how you develop them. Throwing a Byron Pringle.
Pringle played with Mahomes.
Yeah, and Pringle's like, hey man, when the play breaks down, I know how to move because that happened a lot. Okay, thanks, bud. How about when a play doesn't break down? Can you run a route to get open?
Maybe he can do that. Maybe
he probably gonna come over here like, man, he only wanted to throw to Tyreek and Kelsey. Then he probably gonna think about it like, shit, Tyreek gone. I could have probably been getting them targets now.
Oops. I told my agent. My agent told me to be patient, but I just, I went to get dollars.
Oh man, we'll see.
I'm not worried. I don't know about you guys. I'm not worried.
I'm worried. I am worried. I'm worried.
Will you care if it's let's say the Bears go what is it now? 4-13?
13.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a first round pick next year, right?
No, we do have one next year.
Oh, next year we got to come back.
Yeah.
We don't have it this year.
Right. Which he got us another second rounder.
I'm so used to not having first round picks. Yeah, we got 2 second round picks.
We got 2 second round picks this year. So
yeah, the Bears have 6 picks overall this year, with the 39th and 48th. So that's cool because there's not too much space in between when you make your pick. And then they've got a 3rd rounder and they've got 2 5th rounders. So no 4th round pick. And then a 6th rounder. So in the top 100 picks, they've got 3 of the top 100, which, okay, I guess. But if you want to say they got 5 of the top 150, that sounds a little better, I guess. Because their 5th round picks are 148 and 150. The question you have to ask yourself is, so what? Because clearly in free agency, they're just getting bodies. And I get it. I understand you need bodies. You got to understand. It just seems like there's a drain of talent and we're not coming close to replacing it with free agency this year. So, and we don't have a lot of draft capital. So it'd be different if we had like a first rounder and 2 third rounders and a second, you know what I mean? If we had at the top 100, we had maybe 5 picks. At the top 150, we had like 6 or 7, kind of like what the Jaguars had last year, the Jets. Then I can see us replenishing with young talent, you know. This year, I'm just not certain because there's some glaring needs in the secondary. There's some glaring needs at receiver. There's some glaring needs at what was once a strength in the defensive front. There's some issues there now. And it seems like we created more issues for us. And that we don't have enough draft capital to address that. So yeah, man, it's going to be, and here's the thing. Here's why I'm concerned, because we've got a quarterback and we wasted 1 year already on his rookie deal. So we've essentially got 3 years left before we need to figure out whether or not we're going to pick up his option year. So this year and next year, he really needs to show that he's that guy, and we're on that trajectory to where that by year 3 we're in the playoffs. Not maybe the playoffs, but like in the playoffs. We're going to be a strong playoff team, but 7 teams now. If we can't be in the playoffs after seven teams in his 3rd year, then we got issues, because now you're going to have to figure out how, even if he gets better, he being the quarterback feels gets better. But now you're approaching that point where you're going to have to take that option year, and then you're going to have to pay him top dollar going forward. And that's going to take up a lot of the pie for other players that you want to try and bring into the league. And I know the money goes up, but also the players' demands for what they want to be compensated for goes up too. So this year, I guess, yeah, you're right. As it's got to be the development year, keep him healthy, keep him safe, keep it, I guess, simple in some respects. Don't put him in harm's way by asking him to do too much, like the chucklehead we just let go did. But by the same token, you got to make it attractive so free agents want to come here. And I don't know, man. Right now, I feel like we're in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what
we're at the ground floor.
So I asked this because I know Poles said from in the that the key is to get playmakers.
How?
Now you being the draft guru, is that the angle he takes? Because granted, it was playmakers at receiver on the market, but we're not ready to win right now.
Right.
Like, so I would have never seen, for one, Green Bay was not sending Devontae Adams to us.
No.
Not a chance in hell. Tyreek, are we going to pay him $120?
No.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
here's my thing. Yes, I agree. We weren't going to get necessarily that penultimate athlete or talent this year. My issue, my consternation revolves around the fact that we're not getting, as we're getting rid of our players or letting some players go, we're not getting any draft capital back. If you look what the Jaguars and the Jets did, and what Philadelphia done, and several, even the Dolphins, and what Chiefs are just now did when they let Tyreek go. Several of these teams are getting draft capital back. So now you can build with something. That's why I'm concerned, because I'm looking at it. I'm like, all we've done so far is basically just get a second-round pick. Another second-round pick. They ain't going to get it done, son.
Well,
and
what else did the Bears have that could get them that draft capital? I mean,
look, if you want to say we're at the ground floor.
Pace left them a mess. Let's just be real.
No doubt. But if you're saying we're at the ground floor, and okay, let's say I'm with you. We're at the ground floor. We're restarting. So then, dude, when you let James Daniels go, maybe you sign him and trade him. You've got some players here that you can still trade away.
You don't do sign and trades in the NFL, do
they?
Hey,
I've never heard it.
Why can't you?
But
So,
yeah, why
it's
can't you?
outside of the box thinking, but
isn't that why we got him? He's supposed to be outside the box thinker, guy doing it different ways. I mean, you look what the Rams have been doing, dude. I don't know where their money. They got some funny money. I don't know where they're getting all this money from that they can make a trade and get Stafford, and they trade this guy away, and they still got the best defensive player in the league in Aaron Donald. They still playing Jalen Ramsey. You know, they got Von Miller right before, going to the Super Bowl. They repaid Stafford now. They just signed Allen, Allen Robinson. They just signed him from the Bears. So, and they let Robert Woods go, and they may still bring back, and even let Robert, it's like teams are finding ways to do stuff and get either players back or draft compensation back. And right now we haven't got any players back and we haven't got any draft compensation. And I'm like, the league isn't going to wait for us to be like on a 4-year track and think, okay, in 3 or 4 years, the Bears should be good. No, everybody's finding ways to get it done yesterday. And we're still working on last week's version, it seems like. And I know Pace left us in a lurch in some ways, but it's not like we haven't had any talent, because we've been good enough to almost make the playoffs. So we must have had some players that were good enough to do something. If you're going to break it down. Like if you're going to, Roquan you keep, Justin you keep, everybody else.
I think that's what he's doing.
Here's the deal.
We're not getting any draft capital, bro. So I'm saying he's letting them go, but we're not getting.
Friars tried, and they can't get anything.
I don't believe I can't. I don't want to hear I can't. Was when we let Khalil Mack go and we get a 2nd-round pick and a 6th round for next year. And yeah, the money's gone. But then I look at the Chiefs and they have contractual issues and they can't agree with Tyreek Hill and they get a boatload. I mean, look, we know Mack has a chance.
Mack has been hurt. He hasn't been the playmaker that Tyreek Hill has been.
I understand. I'm not saying you got to get the same haul, but I'm saying more than 2 picks, bro. I mean, Jesus.
I think we could have got more. I think we could have got more had we got rid of Quinn.
Again, I'm saying if we're at the ground floor, let's start letting some of these cats go so we can get some draft capital. I mean, seriously, dude. It's like, look, you only got 2 picks for Khalil and 1 for this year, and one is like a 6th round for next year. And I get the money's gone, and it's like, okay. And I'll buy that initially if you're telling me you're letting other people go and we're getting some more draft capital. We haven't done anything since we let him go to replenish our stores. And the free agent signings are like, eh.
But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Go ahead.
But I get what you're saying. But yeah, it's really a indictment on Ryan Pace. Like he really put this guy in a shitty situation. Like, I mean, I don't think you're getting much draft capital. Only person we could have got rid of and possibly got a 1st rounder, maybe a 3rd as well, is Roquan.
I ain't say 1st rounder, dude. And draft capital to me could be, we have 4 4th-round picks. We have 4 4th-round picks. We have 2 3rd-round picks. We've got 4 5th-round picks. What I'm saying is we need bulk, because at this point right now with your 39 pick overall and your 40th pick overall, you better hit on those. Because if you don't hit on those, you worse off than you were coming into it. You got to hit on your 2 2nd-round picks. You don't have a 1st-round pick. And and picks don't always hit, obviously. So you want to buffer yourself in case it doesn't work out. And there's no 4th-round pick. So your 3rd-round pick becomes instrumental too. And not only that, but we're talking a strength that we had was our defensive line has now become an issue that we need to address that we didn't have to before. Your linebackers, you got Roquan. Who else? Your secondary, you got Jalen. You get Johnson at one corner, and you're iffy with Eddie in the back. You know how you feel about Eddie. So I'm just saying, it's like, dude, like your receivers for your quarterback that you need to develop are undersized receivers, and the ones that have been here already, and Mooney and Daz Newsome. And then in Goodwin. Yeah, they're fast, but they're small. Okay. And now you got Pringle, a guy who was the 3rd receiver on the team, maybe sometimes, between him and Demarcus Robinson. this is how we're developing. And then our offensive line is still a question mark. We don't know if Tevin Jenkins is going to be a good left tackle. We don't even know how good his back's going to hold up throughout a year. Larry Borum should probably playing guard in most of the teams, but he's our right tackle. And we signed, another interior offensive lineman. Okay, that's nice, but nobody was breaking down this door to get him. I'm looking around. I'm like, Montgomery, you don't trade running backs like Montgomery because he's not going to get you anything. If we had more picks, I'd feel better going into stuff because I'm like, okay, because this guy was known for having an eye for talent, particularly, those who were coming out of college. Okay. Well, then you better be like spot on, bro, with these picks.
Hey. The offseason ain't over. I tend to believe people in the right places listen to our show. Somebody might get the word back to them and tell them, hey, look, GM say you need to make a couple more moves, get a few more picks. So let's see what happens.
I'm a little worried. All I'm saying, I'm a little worried. I just feel like I'm just floating like in this, like one of those movies where you on this ship and then, something happens and you're on that big platform of wood, you're out there floating and you can't see where land is. And there's some sharks coming by every now and again. And you wonder where you get some fresh water and it's high noon. That's how I feel we are right about now.
But you know what's crazy? The NFC is like
garbage,
pretty damn down this year.
And Dallas is probably the second or third best team in the league right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we be teetering on making the playoffs again this year. Probably won't, but we'll see. I mean, hey,
no, it's possible.
We'll see.
It's possible.
Let's see what happens.
I doubt it.
Stop. Look, the Lions are looking better than us right now, bro. As far as roster goes, they really are.
They're the Lions.
Yeah. Okay. There was a period when the Lions was kicking our ass too. Remember that?
It was short-lived.
It was. It usually is. But still.
Usually is.
We're gonna be all right, and we're gonna be all right. Hey, real quick before we go, we're in the midst of the NCAA tournament, and I don't know about you guys, man, but I thought it was a fun opening weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Tournament. I didn't know about any of these teams. I didn't watch an ounce of college basketball this year, but I had a lot of fun, man, with the bracket and then my online betting. I had a lot of fun with the NCAA tournament for opening weekend. So can't wait for
you won
for
some
the
money.
Sweet 16. I won a little bit. I took an initial $10 investment and got it up to $80. So I was very happy with that. So yeah, we're gonna do it again this weekend. See what we can do. Hopefully I don't come back broke. We got a bracket ourselves. And I don't know how good anybody. I haven't looked at it really.
That says a lot about how we feel about what our picks were. Because usually, like, if you're excited, like, oh no, I know I did good. You're gonna be looking at it. I think we're.
No, I don't think I did. I know I didn't. I'm pulling it up now, and hey! According to this, I'm in first place.
Well, see, there we go. I know you're where do you go to pick it up? I mean, I'm at CBS.
On CBS Sports.
What is it under?
I don't know. I'm on the app.
Oh, the app. Okay.
Glenn, you're in second place. You got Arizona winning it all. Smoke and I both have Gonzaga, but I've got 31 correct picks. Glenn's got 30 and Smoke, you got 27. So I mean, we're about the same. But I watched the
Go Wildcats.
I watched the Arizona TCU game. That went to overtime. That was a pretty good game, man. That was a pretty good game. And St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Those dudes, they had like a losing record. And they beat Iona. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. That's where Ez's nephew coaches, or is your nephew or cousin?
Cousin.
That's where his cousin
Coach
coaches.
the girls there.
Right, coaches the girls there. Right. I'm like, oh, Patino. Oh, okay. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Okay, great. And I'm like, yeah, but that's it. I didn't expect to see them like past the first night in these Sweet 16. That's awesome. That's the thing. That's the beauty of March Madness, dude. In a tournament, seeing teams you ain't never heard of before, unless they beat your team. But seeing teams you never heard of before, go places and you start rooting for them, dude. It's like, yeah, I mean, everybody loves the underdog, man.
Those some tough New York kids, man.
Oh, is that where that is?
That's what. Yeah, it's actually
the schools is in Jersey.
It's in Jersey City, New Jersey, which is right over the Hudson River.
No idea.
I got a friend that lives in Jersey City, and so he was like, "Yeah, I live 10 minutes from there."
Really?
He said, "Yeah." He said it's rough over there. He said you gotta walk with a little protection when you're over by St. Pete's.
Wow.
But good man, outstanding first and second round. So I can't wait for the Sweet 16 coming up. I guess
Illinois came and went. That was
see you later. Yeah.
Illinois.
You know what? I didn't see Illinois doing much. They it's just something. They always, they have a really good regular season. They win a Big Ten title, and then the tournament comes and it's nothing.
Yeah, but hey, as an Illinoisan, you want them to get to the Elite Eight.
Oh, absolutely.
At least to Final Four. I mean, look, I seen them play some games this year, and it was just like, hell, they lost to Cincinnati, and I saw Cincinnati play in person, and I was not that impressed. So I didn't necessarily expect Illinois to go far, but you want to see it. And I thought my Vols might make it at least to the Sweet 16. At least
that was a good game though against Michigan.
Yeah,
that was a good game. I
was hoping Juwan Howard's team would still caught up from that fracas.
No, they figured it out. They all right. They are okay. Hey, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast and the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs. And I'm on there as well. And also the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, it's like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. Just don't beat DeShaun Watson wrong.
We'll see you next week.